I'm gonna start the intro just as you two are in mid-conversation. I'm gonna wait for it. Just start saying, "Hello, everyone." Oh,
And then
jeez.
when I edit it, it'll just be like a big thing that says Dale
Hello,
is very
everyone, and
rude.
welcome to. No, we'll do it for real now. But hello, everyone, and welcome to the UnCapt Gaming Podcast, where we speak about all things related to movies and books. No, video games. I'm joined by Lloyd and Phil, my lovely assistants. I'm not going to point to which one's which because I'll get it wrong. But today we're going to be talking about the new year. And along with the new year, again, New Year's resolutions, but gaming resolutions and new things you're going to be looking at in gaming this year and how we're going to tackle that backlog, if anyone can actually... I wonder if anyone's ever said, I've finished my backlog.
No, keep
that's impossible. It just doesn't happen, does it?
No.
But we'll start with the usual of what have we been playing, and I'll leave it up to the two of you to decide who goes first.
Go on, Phil. Go on.
Go on, Phil.
Well, very well, sir. I want to say after you. No, I'll start. Yeah. So, other than the PlayStation Plus games, which I won't talk about because anyone who follows on the YouTube channel should watch the video about that.
I'll just talk about it.
What I think the big things for me I've still been sort of chipping away at Returnal and trying to make progress. I've reached the first boss several times. I still haven't beat the bloody thing because it's very, very hard. So that's where I am with that game. But on slightly more positive news, I've now got a real move from a tent to a real house in Animal Crossing, so I can start building and doing all that sort of thing. I've got a real house.
Now Tom Nook is everything.
This is where Tom Nook gets you.
Tom Nook owns my soul. It's 55,000 bells.
It's done. I have never seen such a horrible scheme as his housing pro. Actually, it's not that bad because you don't have a set date to pay it back, so you could just literally go without that. I'm pretty sure I still owe him money.
It's still bad, the amount of hours that you have to work.
Yeah, I mean, in fairness to Tom Nook's brand of capitalism, as much as I joked when before I played the game when it was mostly D playing it, and I always joked that he was like a slumlord, but there aren't any like real life examples I know where there's no payback date, there's no interest, and you can just dig holes and plant money and it grows into money trees. So
true. He's giving you a lot of people give him a lot of give him a hard time. But I think
he's making that road to the 100% gamer score and capitalism a little bit easier. Yeah,
he's just making it easier for first time buyers.
Boris, take note, mate.
Is that everything for you though, Phil? This month, other than this week?
It's been because I mean I've still got Kena Bridge of Spirits to play there, but I haven't gone back to that as of yet, which I suppose we'll talk about when we get to the whole backlog thing. But at the moment, Returnal is the main one I've been trying and failing to make progress on.
What about you, Lloyd? What's going on in your world?
Trying to keep my hair under control, but it looks it just sprawls out.
Get a hat.
I need a haircut. I need a haircut. Other than that, I completed the gunk.
Yeah. Ooh.
Is that 2 podcasts in a row where you've completed the game?
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm already halfway to my 2021 completion rate. And it took me 4 hours to do. It was like 3.5 hours, I think. So, but it was yeah. I don't want to. I feel bad saying it. It's like it's in between bad and okay. Like it's like falls in that category. It got quite tedious very quickly, and for a 4-hour game to be like I can't wait to get to the end of this. It's like you shouldn't feel like that in that short of a game. But it wasn't for me. I'm just gonna say that it wasn't for me. Kind of just like relied on the one mechanic a bit, which was like where you suck up the gunk, and then there was like 3 enemy types, and it just and they all relied on you sucking them in and popping them out.
The Slime Rancher, but just not as good.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't enjoy it. It kind of like when I first saw it, I was like, this is gonna have Psychonauts vibes because there's kind of I don't know why I just felt like it was gonna be like Psychonauts, but no, didn't even reach the potential. I've got to be honest. Other than that, been playing Halo. Halo's awesome. Halo.
Oh, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh mate, I've never felt so much like Master Chief before. I feel like him. It's so bad. I'm like when you're like my favorite thing to do is just swing into an enemy and just bop them.
The grapple hook's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like it's the best thing. And then like you use the other like little things like the shield and the thrusters.
Just a heads up, we don't condone the action of shooting aliens. Little throwaway gag from last episode.
With the attitude of the grunts, mate, I think.
Oh, the grunts in this are amazing.
Their attitude is like next level.
Have you seen the towers where they spew like propaganda and stuff? They have their own radio station. There's one that is like, wait, his name's John? We're afraid of a guy called John? And it just, it's so
I think it's like one of the first ones I came across, I think.
Is it? I haven't heard it. I've only seen it like about, like I know like on TikTok I see a lot of them and they're so good.
It's so well done. And like the story's so good so far. I haven't played 5 though. Yeah, 5.
I played bits of 5, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played 5, so I don't have a clue what's going on, like and stuff, but it's good. The story holds its own.
That's fair.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, and I can't wait to play more tonight, probably after this.
Have you got your teeth stuck into the multiplayer yet?
No.
I
kind of want to complete the story first. Because and then
straight on that multiplayer.
I complete 2021 then. I've
there we go.
Already, so.
That's the goal. Beat 2021 and you can just
2021 and then I can relax and
sit around, play games. Wait, what?
Yeah, play games and enjoy them.
Damn. Well, yeah. I've been nothing but Apex this week. Nothing but Apex Legends this week. I am very much well beyond addicted now.
Yeah, I could tell yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I put like 6 hours into it yesterday. The day before, I think I put like 6 hours into it. It's just, I'm loving it. Honest to God, I honestly think it's probably one of the best shooters we've had in quite some time. It just feels so good. Big statement, but I think it's true. It's probably the best battle royale. Yeah, at the moment as well, it's one of the best battle royales.
I'm still not allowed onto Apex. I think.
No, it's still banned.
I think so. For not showing up for 6 months. Feels like we're back in school.
I've kind of I don't know if I'll say, but I've kind of been grinding a bit of rank. This is one of my New Year things. But I've been grinding ranked a bit more and trying to get better. So it's not just playing. I've been like recording myself, which sounds weird to say out loud, and like watching back things, and it's weird. I've never been so critical of myself in a game, and I'm enjoying it. But I guess that kind of leads me into the first subject of the podcast. So, new year, new you, new games. Are you trying anything new this year?
Oh.
In gaming, are you going to be trying any new genres, new games coming out? New games coming out is a bit of a stretch, but I mean, any new genres you want to dig into? Anything you want to try this year other than completing games?
I kind of explored deck building games with Inscription at the end of last year.
Yeah.
There's another game that I'm quite excited about, which is Beneath the Ressa, which is I think I'm pronouncing that okay. I hope so. But yeah, it's another deck builder that's coming out I think later this year. And I've kind of got involved in that community and stuff. So yeah, I'm excited to kind of. I want to kind of delve into like Slay the Spire a bit more and stuff because I think I did like
game.
Yeah,
so difficult.
I did like one run and then I was like, yeah, nah. But then I got it. I said before I got it for my birthday, so I'm actually going to give it a go. Yeah. And give it a good crack because I think I played it on Xbox Game Pass before, but give that a good crack.
Very good game.
Yeah, that goes.
Have you tried anything like that, Phil? Any like deck building?
I've never really. Kind of I mean, I think thinking on it, probably the end of last year was probably the most like indie games in general, let alone like specific types that I played in any sort of period of time, because like playing things like Pray for the Gods and Kena, and I'm sure there was something else there as well. But yeah, there's like, because like a lot of mine like stuff, and like you know, I'm into like sort of the big heavy into the Resident Evil franchise and the Last of Us franchise, because I'm like getting like huge amounts of mileage out of them. So um, it's something, I don't know. It seems daunting sometimes, because there's like, you know, should I try new things? But each time, like I've got like, you know, the way we were saying about people have got a backlog, and I've got a backlog. I can go through the list of games that I've got there behind me that I haven't completed yet. And then I've also got a second backlog, which is the games in my mind that I think I should give them a go at some point. And there's a list that's sort of growing there, because I've seen them a couple of times, or they look interesting, but I've not yet bought them. So there's the backlog of games I've bought and not finished, and there's the backlog of games that I've not yet bought to not finish.
The fact that you've got it as a list gives me anxiety. I would not. Can you imagine? Like, I'm thinking about where all my games are. If I actually write down the games that I've not completed and bought,
I would say a mental list. I haven't actually got a spreadsheet or anything there.
I was gonna say, a little spreadsheet of games I've bought, games I'm going to buy, games I've completed. Oh my, that would terrify me.
I've got a list of games like I'm looking forward to. Like
I haven't even got that.
Yeah, no, I have to, because like, yeah, it was just because there's games like I see on Twitter, and I'm like, I really like the look of that, and then I forget about like 10 minutes later.
I think I did that with Pray for the Gods. Actually, I put it on.
Yeah.
I marked it on the wish list on the PS5 when I first got it, and then when it actually came out, I was like, "Oh yeah, that was a thing I was excited about" for like 5 minutes. But there's a guy who keeps popping up on TikTok periodically, like talking about video games, and he's actually got, I think he's kept it since like 2019. He's got like a log where he marks down a game and when he's completed it, and then like just every single time he completes a game, he just completes this like log.
A game. Does he update it?
Does he highlight it?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I think it's the first. Yeah, it's the first time he finishes the game, and then it's sort of whether that's 100% or end of the story or whatever it is, which, you know, fair play. It means he can recall them all. Whereas if you ask me, like, what game did you complete in the middle of July last year, I'd be like, stuff.
That's quite interesting though, because I see a lot of people. This is one of the new things that I actually want to do this year. So a lot of people do the threads on Twitter of the games they've completed, and I've not completed anything yet. I'm not like Lloyd. I'm not that productive. I've been playing Apex. Like, I can't complete Apex, so
you can.
No, you can't. Actually, you just got to get rank 1 in the world with every character.
10,000 hours into it.
Is there not like 100%? Is there not like achievements or trophies?
Yeah, you can. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've got all the achievements, but like, there's nothing. I suppose you can get like all the badges and stuff, but like, you gotta get 20 kills a game on every single character, and like,
unlock all the skins.
My teammates are kill thirsty. Do you know how hard it is to get kills? But no, I'm seriously considering either doing it on Twitter or just like even a spreadsheet just to keep track of what I played, what games I stopped playing, and maybe put little reasons as to why I stopped playing them. That might be a little interesting thing to do, you know? If anyone actually does that, let us know in the comments, because it's interesting to see if it's actually useful to you. I mean, I like it because at the end of the year, people just go through and they've got like their big list of games, and it's nice.
That'll actually be the thing that you said gives you anxiety. You'll make it real, like make the list of all the games you've not finished.
Yeah, no, but games I've completed is different.
It's just different. It's like I've achieved this year.
Yeah, this is what I've done. Look at this.
Completing a game is an achievement, no matter what your book says. It is an achievement.
Yeah, exactly. What about you, Phil? Is there anything new you want to tackle this year in gaming, or any kind of resolutions you're gonna make to you know? I was gonna say like make your gaming process more efficient, but I don't know where I was going with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna streamline the way I play games and turn it into like a corporate. No. I mean, other than Other than the usual thing about, like, there's loads of new games that want to come out, I want to play them and I want to go through complete them. I think the big things like I want to do in terms of things that I've never really done before, one of them I suppose is more like a challenge and the other one's more like a point of interest. So the challenge one, which I think I've mentioned before, is that I do want to do this whole sort of The Last of Us Part 2 whole game permadeath hardest difficulty run and be able to do that like sort of challenge and get through the whole game on the hardest difficulty without dying once and under threat.
So you don't want enjoyment.
Games are fun.
You know what? I will say this is one of the things about. I mean, there's always the thing about difficulty in games, and I think I've played some games where even knocking it up a slight level turns it into just a horrible punishing thing because it's just like every enemy becomes a hit sponge and all this sort of stuff, and it just sucks all the fun out of it. But this is not like that. I mean, there's a couple of games where it feels like a genuine challenge, but one that's doable, and it does actually feel like a genuine sense of achievement. Like, this is really hard, but not in a cheap way, and I've done it. I might have died 500 times doing it, but I did it. But then, obviously, the next step from that is do it without dying 500 times. So that's kind of the big thing, because I know I'll never be a speedrunner. I know I'll never be able to complete a game in
Who knows?
Well, I don't think I'll ever be a speedrunner.
Never say never, Phil. Never say never.
Yeah, I watched the YouTube video earlier where a guy who does a load of like gaming challenges. Like, he's never done speedrunning in his life, and he challenged a professional speedrunner to a race in Resident Evil 4. And I think he was only like 2 minutes behind him or something like that, so it was quite good. But the amount of hours they put into those, like 4,000, like he was like 4,000 hours in Resident Evil 4. That's just like incredibly terrifying as a concept. But then, like, say the other thing as far as like interest goes is that, particularly with coming to Resident Evil, I want to play a lot. Well, I'd say more as if I've ever played any, but fan games and mods and stuff like that. Not like mods like, you play this game and we'll have the character in a bikini or whatever, but like mods like where they effectively make a whole new game from the base game, because there's a load of them in Resident Evil in particular, like where they like took the original like Resident Evil 1, for example, and they've put different characters in it, changed the environment slightly, made a different story. And then there's this quite big, ambitious fan remake of Code Veronica coming out this year as well, which looks absolutely gorgeous anyway. Like, considering this has all been done not for profit and just out of sheer enjoyment of the game, is just absolutely impressive. But that's the first chapter of that's being released this year, so I want to be getting on that and just seeing what the community has got to offer, especially since Capcom are not going to remake the game themselves.
I can't be angry at Capcom right now. Monster Hunter's out around the corner again, and I'm excited to play it again. So Capcom, I love you. Don't take Phil's fist shake as mine. It's not. I love you. That's interesting. Yeah. I've never really played many mods. I'm not really a big fan of modding games. I never really have been, but I understand why people are. It's just, I don't know. As soon as it goes away from what the base game is, it's like Skyrim. As soon as it goes away from what the base game is, I'm like, oh, this is not meant to be here, and I'm like, okay, let's leave it. That's not
this is an abomination against God.
I think that's because we're used to playing on the Xbox, though.
Yeah, I guess we've never had it. Maybe it's something that I guess, like with Elder Scrolls Online, putting all the little add-ons and stuff in, I did that. So I guess I did to a point.
Like, yeah.
But my new thing this year is I'm gonna deep dive into a competitive game, like deep dive into a competitive game. I've always been like, say like gold, plat kind of ranked gamer when it comes to the FPSs that I play. And I think this year is the year that I'm going to aim to actually be pretty good at a competitive game. And I think Apex is probably going to be it. And like, I've not said to myself, okay, at the end of the year, I want to be this rank or I want to be this. I just want to be consistently good. I want to be above average. and maybe like the best in the world. Nah, it's not gonna happen ever. But
I was gonna say the
yeah.
main thing that like UnCapt viewers will remember as far as you and FPSs will be that clip when we were being introduced at the like before we launched the channel where you're talking and saying, well, when it comes to FPSs, yeah, the people I'm the one you want in the corner, and then it's like, nope, that's a sniper. I'm on fire
straight away. Yeah. Nah, I don't know. I've been playing with some friends and making sure that I'm playing with people that are like a lot better than me, so I can see what they're doing. I've been recording games too and watching back some of my decision making and trying to get a better sense of like game awareness and things like that. Because like it's easy to go into, say for example, Apex and just, okay, I'm gonna go fight this team. I'm gonna go fight that team. I'm gonna go fight this team. I'm gonna loot here.
Which is what Dale usually does.
Which is what I usually do. Yeah, no, you're right. And like now I'm playing and I'm like, okay, rings coming here. I know there's two teams that landed there. I want to go fight these two teams, loot them, and then I can come into the ring here and see where it's going next, and start to like play with a bit more sense of just like trusting like my plan and what to do and where to go and things. So
the image I've got in my head of this is like you know those American documentaries where they've got those helicopter parents like in like they want the kid to succeed in ballet because they never could, so they got the videotape of it and go, see, this is what you're doing wrong, this is where you need to. I imagine you sort of in both roles there as the helicopter parents to yourself.
Be going, right then, why did we take that fight? Why did you fight him? You could have literally jumped up, got high ground, and won the fight. What are you doing? And I'm sure going, I don't know, I just thought I could.
Maybe so in next week's podcast, we're going to see Coach Hooper, Dale's split personality.
In next week's episode, I'm not going to be speaking to the other part of me, and it's not going to be speaking to me.
Yeah,
it's be
little Dale's just in the corner going, I just want to play to have fun.
Yeah, no, I obviously, like, I'm big into esports and stuff, so I just want to get better understanding and play games to a higher caliber, I suppose, is where I'm going this year. But moving on to the next one, which I guess I'll start because it's tackling your backlog. Are you going to attempt this year? And what's the biggest games in your backlog? For me, no. I'm not.
That's enough.
Quite simply, I'm not going to be looking at my backlog this year. There are like one or two games that I kind of want to go to and play. For example, Deathloop, I've just bought on sale, and I'm going to be playing that now. Simply because I want to see if it's worth it. Plus, it's a shooter, so it's easy for me to come from what I'm playing. Yeah, you know, I can push a team in Deathloop and then switch it over to Apex and do the same, but. No, I think I'm not gonna. I honestly think this year I'm not gonna complete that many games like last year because of the games that I'm playing. If that makes sense. But how come no for you, Lloyd?
I just like I don't know. Like there's a lot of good games coming out as well, and like obviously like I've just launched my own channel. Shameless plug there.
Wow,
and
could you not advertise?
No, but like and like I really enjoy finding little gems that are like hidden out there, and like it's something I should have mentioned when you were talking about the last thing, but like I played a game. Phil showed me this game called Be Clouded, and I played like the demo version that wasn't released. It was like a alpha beta sort of thing, and like I had a lot of fun, like just talking to the dev, sitting down and like going in and looking at the game and then going, oh, you can improve this. I like this bit, blah blah blah, giving them feedback and stuff. And I might try and do that a bit more this year. Just like get involved with like the development, like helping out and giving feedback and stuff. But I don't know. I might play like Horizon because the new one's coming out, and I know it's obviously won't be able to play it because I haven't got a PS5 yet. But if I do, I know then I've completed the first one, so
you can just seamlessly jump into it.
Yeah, and that's like the only game I'm probably gonna actually sit down and play for my backlog.
Because you're for the viewers that maybe don't know your channel, you're kind of deep diving into the indie world now. And
yeah.
And are you gonna, like, as a backlog suggestion, are you gonna maybe look at some of like the indie superstars, maybe, and go back and play them. Maybe?
Yeah, possibly. But they're not in my back. Are they in my backlog? I don't know. I haven't bought them.
I don't know how backlogs work at this point. Like, I'm scared. Like, I've probably completed about 3% of the games that I own, and it terrifies me.
I think backlogs. Yeah, you have to own them. Like, so, there's games I'm going to visit that I haven't played before. Like, I've been thinking about playing Chicory, which is out on the Switch, I believe.
Okay.
And like I've heard everyone saying you need to play this game, so I'm gonna play that. And if I'm not happy with it, Twitter's gonna get it hard. And
just go to every single suggestion tweet and be like, "You lied."
Why lie?
Why are you lying for?
Oh, it looks good, and there's going to be older games that I'm going to revisit, but there's none at the moment that are in my backlog that I'm like, oh, I have to play this. But there's probably going to be some. I'm just not letting it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
I've just got loads of demos at the moment. I'm looking through my Steam page now. It's like 30% demos, 70%.
Oh, I end up hiding demos as soon as I'm done because they annoy me.
There's some I just haven't played. Like I've just picked up along the way and just be like, I'm gonna play that at some point, and I'll probably forget about it.
What about you and your growing Phil log? You're going.
The Phil log.
Oh, my mind.
So how are you going to tackle your Phil log?
That sounded like it almost could have been words.
It's been a long day, okay?
I mean, as far as the thoughts cross my mind periodically, like about all of the games that I've got that I've not finished, or I might have finished but it's been ages ago, and tackled them like for older consoles and stuff like that, and I think it'd be nice. But that big but always comes to I think that probably get in the way of things like say I will be getting Horizon Forbidden West as soon as that comes out, and 100%ed Zero Dawn, so I'm gonna have to 100% Forbidden West as well. That doesn't leave any time for like playing. Let's just pick something at random.
Oh, he has physical games, don't we?
Yeah, remember them? Remember them when you had to
physical games?
There we go. Random pick. Freedom Fighters for the PlayStation 2.
Ooh, I remember that.
I don't.
Which is actually quite a good. The game is basically that the USSR wins the Cold War and then invades the USA, and then you're a Brooklyn plumber who has to lead the resistance, which is it's kind of fun.
By chance. Oh, jeez.
It's a me. Here to take on the rush.
It's me, Chris Pratt.
No, in an ideal world, it'd be Bob Hoskins. Because if anyone's seen that version of Mario Brothers, but yeah, so that's probably not going to happen. And the other thing as well is my backlog, because every time PlayStation Plus releases three new games, even the ones I'll never play, I think a couple of months ago there was a PGA. I'm never going to play a golf game, but I still pressed add to library, and it's added to the backlog. That's just increasing month by month by month.
I'm going to say something. This is Dale's controversial thing of the thing, but golf is one of the most boring sports. I could only imagine how boring a golf game has to be. That's got to be next level of, damn, I need a new hobby.
I mean, you say that'll be controversial, but I'm pretty sure that Simpsons where Bart stole the video game because he didn't get it. He wanted Splatter Bone or whatever the hell it was called, some sort of gory fighting game, and his mum got him. His mum got him the professional golf game instead. It obviously drove him to shoplift, so there's a moral lesson there for us all, I think.
Don't golf and don't get golf games. It's quite simple.
Nothing beats a good old PGA game. Is it PGA Tiger Woods? I can't remember, but
I think it was a PGA. There was a tennis one there as well, and tennis, as much as not against the sport.
Tennis games are quite good.
It's not a video. I'm not going to play it in video game form. That's just I know that for a fact. So
I used to enjoy like where you could dress up the character and you get the sweatbands on. You'd have your own career. It was great, and then you'd be fighting Doc Djokovic and.
I think the last tennis game I played was probably Wii Tennis, like and just like moving back and forth, and yeah,
just the Wii in general.
See, I don't like career modes in sports games because I end up making myself, and it's like FIFA, and it's like, look at this 19-year-old version of myself playing for Real Madrid, earning 600k a week, scoring bangers after bangers,
around
and you're just sat there, just like a bum, just I am so good.
Aretha's dribbling down your face.
Your bag of Skittles next to you that you're just missing your mouth with.
The Dr. Pepper's spilt.
Yeah, and you got imaginary me then just putting in top bins.
And then you've got Coach Hooper in the corner.
Yeah, Coach Dale in the corner going, should have actually passed there.
When you shoot from the halfway line, son.
It's when it gets all Inception-y and like, I don't know, 10 years time or something, you're playing a game which is like esports simulator where I played
esports simulator
where you've made yourself as an esports star and you're playing yourself playing the game. And then just go, this is what I could have been.
You underestimate my level of, oh my lord, look what I could have been.
I always pretended to be a YouTuber.
I was pretending to be a YouTuber on YouTube. It was incredible. Damn, my level of simulation and just making a game do it for me is incredible, alright? It's why I don't play The Sims, because I go down a rabbit hole, and I'm not allowed down that rabbit hole anymore.
I remember when I got Sims 4 for Sims 3. I built my house. Like, literally, room for room, built my house. Wow. I was just like, yeah, let's do it, why not? And I did it. It looked sick. It had a bigger garden, though. It had a much bigger garden.
You cheated then. Yeah, it's not your house.
Nah, it was just all garden.
You threw it away in the
The dogs were happy.
So backlogs are a kind of a no-go then for all of us this year. And have we just allowed it to grow into such a monster now that we're just ignoring it? It's just there in the corner, just like, I think just like, I just can't bother.
There'll be parts of it, like I've kind of said I want to, because there's games that you've never completed that you'll never replay, and then there's other games that you have completed that you'll replay loads. And then I think that's sort of the area of like, I've completed this game a couple of times, but I've not 100%ed it yet. Should I do that? And so I suppose that's sort of clearing bits of backlogs. Although it's also kind of done, because one of the examples that is Resident Evil Remake, which I've completed once at this point as Jill Valentine. I've not completed it as Chris Redfield. I know you don't like him, Dale. But
just wound me up in Village. Guy just appears at convenient moments, and you just all like, oh, look at me, I punch boulders, and you say, oh, I don't care.
Well, but one of the things I think that makes it, because it's not just the usual completed on easy, completed on all the different difficulties, completed with both characters. There's also extra modes that you unlock as well that you have to complete. Like there's, for anyone who's played Resident Evil, one of the big things about it is the item boxes and the magic, because any item box anywhere holds all the same stuff that you store, except in one mode where they're all realistic, and you have to, if you store it in one, it's not going to be found in another, and you have to backtrack a lot more.
Sounds like hell.
Or the invisible enemies mode, where all the zombies are invisible, and you have to kind of guess where they are and get past them.
Why would you do that? That sounds awful.
Or there's also a secret unlockable mode where if you complete both characters on normal, then every time you play afterwards and you can't turn it off, there's one zombie who keeps reappearing everywhere, who's got like grenades strapped to him, and if he blows up, he kills you instantly.
Sounds like a grunt.
I like that. Sounds like a grunt. Damn. Do you know? Funny enough to talk about grunts. I replayed Halo 2, which is another game that I didn't mention, or most of Halo 2, and I finally put the Grunt birthday party skull on. For Phil that don't know, have you seen grunts in Halo?
Little things.
I'm not very familiar with Halo at all.
They're these little aliens that just badmouth you constantly, and they're amazing.
They were the ones like when you were playing it on stream, and like they were all sort of like crying and running away when you came in and started punching them.
So
All
there's a modifier in the game. They call them skulls because you find them throughout the map, and some of them like impact the game drastically, some don't. Because you can get stuff like that turns the HUD off and makes them throw more grenades, so it's difficult and stuff. But there's one that if you shoot a grunt in the head, it makes the yay and all confetti pops up. So I turned that on in our Halo 2 thing, and Lauren fell in love, and it
is arguably the best skull in the game.
It is. It feels really weird playing Halo when grunts don't pop when you shoot them in the heads and confetti goes everywhere. I feel disappointed.
Especially after they've been giving you bad lip. They're just basically a banter squad, aren't they? That's all they are.
They literally are. They're just like they're a
hype squad.
They're like a roast comedian, and they just walk around.
Your name's John.
Can we just dedicate the podcast to
grunts? Because they do not get enough.
They don't get enough love. Did you see the one that was like, "Hey Spartan, Reach is calling"? Show. For you don't understand, Reach is like the first. Is it planet or is it just the first planet? Or one of the planets that the Covenant invades and destroys. So like, "Hey Spartan, Reach is calling." Ha! Sorry, it is actually quite dark if you think about it, but it's quite funny at the same time. I imagine Master Chief is damage. Emotional damage. Oh, jeez.
Never change.
Yeah, so lesson from UnCapt: just ignore your backlog. It doesn't exist. When you buy those games on sale, they'll just stay there. You'll never touch them. Who cares? You own them now. They've made money from you, and it's just sat in your backlog that will forever grow until the day you die when you cannot control it.
Maybe we should, I think this is probably a challenge, something we can do for after this podcast comes out. If we all, at least our physical backlogs, get them all together and take a photo so we can put on Instagram just to see how big it is. Measure it against ourselves.
I don't have. I have physical books, and they're scaring me because that backlog is getting terrifying. I don't want to look at that anymore.
That's a whole separate subject. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, let's not get into books. But I suppose question for everyone watching is: how big is your backlog?
Can you measure it in feet or miles or?
Yeah. Do you have enough time left alive to complete all the games? Do you know what I mean? Like they're long. Games are long now. You know, they're a commitment. But moving into the new year, and something that the people tend to do in New Year's is the New Year's resolution. You know, tend to kick out eating sugar, going to the gym, or kick out nasty habits. We're not doing that because we're gamers. Let's be fair. We're not going to bother with that. But are you going to change any toxic but not toxic gaming traits this year? Is there anything that you want to stop doing?
Do I don't know. Do I have any toxic traits? I don't know. I'm not that self-aware.
I'm asking you. This is
I'm not that self-aware.
This is an emotional roller coaster now. We're getting deep.
I've got emotional traits. Definitely. I don't know why I said that, but yeah.
I've got emotional traits.
Lloyd's like, do I have emotions? Am I a person with emotions? Yes, I probably feel.
You rage quit a lot, Lloyd? I just had an image of you just walking out.
What game did I play the other day? Was it Halo? I was watching Phil's stream and I just full on walked out of Phil's stream.
You rage quit?
I just walked away. I just literally pressed pause and walked.
Do you think you could stop rage quitting, Lloyd? No, it's embedded deeply within you.
Did
you try breathing techniques?
Do you know what? I've improved a lot. I have.
Yeah?
I no longer quit the first time I die. It takes me several.
Oh my lord! I can imagine it's hard for you to play anything where death is like a normal thing.
Maybe that's the test. This year we need Lloyd playing more roguelikes and Souls-likes.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we'll do. Oh, that's going to take you at least 18 years to finish.
I really want to play it, but at the same time I don't.
If it's any consolation, I consider, I'm technically a Soulsborne player because I've played both Demon Souls and Bloodborne, and I'm nowhere near, I think I'm 5% the way through both. and I probably will be for the next few years.
Well, I just purchased Dark Souls 3 ready for before Elden Ring comes out.
Nice.
To finish that. So
how long do they normally take?
It depends. It depends how good you are. Like,
if you're not me,
I don't know. I could have a look what my Dark Souls 1 playtime was.
Yeah,
32 hours.
Yeah, definitely not completing that this year.
Not too bad. But I did get stuck on Smaug and Ornstein for quite some time. So
I'm gonna get stuck on every boss for quite some time.
Yeah, it very much depends on if you get stuck or if you don't get stuck, you know. But
this might be my calling. This might
be your calling, you know. Can Lloyd finish a game that makes him rage every other second?
Like I said, it's not every death now.
Okay, every other death then. Sorry. What about you, Phil? Do you think you have any bad traits or bad habits in gaming that you want to stop doing?
See, I was racking my brains about this. I'm not sure whether. I mean, I probably do, but in terms of like big ones, like it's been a long while since I've rage quit because I think if I give up on anything, I don't rage quit it. I sort of silently give up on it, where I'll just sort of not. I'll make it like after like a struggle for a bit, and then I like end with PlayStation or whatever. Then it just be like, I'll just not return to that. We'll just forget that ever existed, and or leave it for several months. And like that's usually what I do with Soulsborne. Is like, right, okay, that's driven me to the end of my patience. I'll wait several months before I play that again. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I don't think so. Like, certainly not. Like when I was a kid, like the amount of range that I'd have with like 10 years old. Obviously, you're a different person, but like there was always this certain thing. If things got too hard or something, then there was always this one noise that came out of me, which sounded like a motorbike charging up, sort of when I've got rid.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I don't think I really have. I mean, I don't have that anymore, mainly because I don't have to worry if I leave my computer on all day that my mum will switch it off because I don't live with her anymore. So.
So I guess this question is literally just calling me out then.
I've got one. Stop getting overhyped for games and getting let down.
No, that's just an embedded trait as a gamer. You don't do that. You just can't not do that.
Games
I think I'm enjoying that though, like because that's something I haven't done for a long time. Like
disappointment.
Yeah. No, but like getting hyped for stuff. It's.
You got to be used to disappointment as a gamer. It's just
it feels like a new experience because like I only really got back into gaming like 2 years ago, and then everything that I've played was already out or on the verge of being out, and now we're back into like I have to wait for stuff now, and it's like where's the next thing, you know? But like feeling the hype and excitement.
Welcome to gaming, Phil, where you just wait for things and not tackle your backlog. I need someone to animate like a giant goo monster here, being like, "Play me."
You don't book 3 days off after the day of release for the game.
My
disappointment.
Yeah, my sleep paralysis demon's not actually a demon. It's just a pile of games looking at me in the corner of the room. Yeah. Damn, that's weird. So you've not experienced like overhype into disappointment. You've not experienced things like Cyberpunk, or do you know what was one for me was Grounded.
Yeah, that got really loads of like,
just like
yeah.
It was. I stopped the swear, but
it was
it
was okay.
It was empty.
It was empty, yeah. It was.
But then I guess they've added loads now. But
I've seen a couple of references to that, but I have no idea what it is. I'll be honest.
It's just Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Literally.
That's literally it. This quite literally is a gaming present. Yeah. But I'm quite thick now because this gaming traits thing kind of just calls me out of things that I want to stop. So firstly, I need to stop blaming other things.
Yeah.
Especially in Apex. It's like, oh my god, we got third party. That's so stupid when like I quite literally missed all of my bullets. And yeah. I'm not so bad when it's in like ranked and stuff because I know I'm playing against good players, so I know it's thing. But yeah, I can be quite what do you mean? That wasn't me. And it genuinely was me that just missed everything, could not fight the person, peaked when I shouldn't have, which is a lot of things that I'm learning from watching my own stuff back. So that's kind of sifting out. But the other thing is I need to stop going back to like Modern Warfare 2, Dale. I need to stop that
Yes,
because, oh my
please.
God, I've noticed that I've been doing stuff like
Yes.
your mum get shot on, kids, and I'm like, that's not me no more. What am I doing? And it's coming back, and I don't like it because I don't want to be in a situation where I'm streaming.
Have like a sign hanging from your hat or something, just like the pop stand just says, "Remember, you're an adult."
No. Because there's no better feeling than being pushed in Apex specifically, being pushed by a team, absolutely slapping them, and then just teabagging their thing, just being like, "Get shot on, kid! Whoa!" There's no better feeling. It's incredible. Like, it's amazing.
I think we're going to need a third person.
Is it always at that pitch as well? Like
oh yeah, it's high pitched screams.
Do like all the neighborhood dogs' ears go up and
yeah, it's gotta be.
The worst thing is if you're in chat with him, you'll go quiet, and then for absolutely ages, and then you'll just hear him scream down the mic, and it's the worst. Like he killed me yesterday in Halo because we were in a chat together and sat there, and I was just talking to myself because I knew he wasn't going to answer, and then he screamed down the mic, and I jumped, and it blew me up. So yeah, I'm just taking one of Dale's traits.
I'm trying to work on as well, like talking while I'm playing, especially because I'm playing with 2 other people constantly. The amount of little things that you can tell your teammates to keep them going. It's like, oh, this person's armor's cracked. They know that they can push them, insta kill them, and things like that. And whereas I'm just there, I'm like, oh my lord,
the concentration.
Yeah, so
my favorite thing you used to do is when you did shout armor crap, but you never tell us which one.
Yeah,
so you just be like, armor crap, which one?
I'm like, oh, they're cracked. Like who? I don't know. Someone. Nah, I got used to that. Although there was a situation yesterday where I was playing and I was like, there's a bloodhound on the loose, and they were like, no, it's not. It's a wraith. And I literally had come face to face with this player, saw their character model, everything, and they just assumed that it was a different character and was just looking around after we killed them. Like, I'm telling you, there's a bloodhound somewhere.
I think that probably like does feed into something. I don't know whether it's a trait or it's just something I want to do better at in general. But like, as you guys probably know, like my tolerance for dying over and over again is quite high at the moment from practice, and like doing that particularly on certain games, and and particularly if you're trying to learn how to do them without dying, like you start seeing patterns and learning what the enemy's doing and like the best way to do it, which I'm quite good at knowing what I should do. What I'm then bad at, particularly after I've died a few times, is actually doing it rather than doing something daft instead, and just be like, right, I need to sneak past here, wait for however many seconds, shoot this guy, and it'll be like, no, well, I'll just run and then aim off and miss them, and just like,
I think
no.
Yeah.
I do that quite a lot.
I've kind of got to do something like that, and that I've got to start playing games the way that the game's meant to be played. That's something I've got to start doing. Like Resi, I played Resi like it was just a first-person shooter. I beat Resi like it was a first-person shooter with no qualms. But I think I need to start like sitting back and being like, okay, can't tackle everything as a first-person shooter. Let's try play the game properly, and
So to be fair, I think you got away with that in Village because you can kind of do that. You like all the sort of backtracking stuff's optional. You can just charge through and shoot.
See, I think I got away with it in 7 as well because I remember I was watching some clips of me and I was trying to 360 no scope things all the time.
Yeah. But as we saw when you tried to play Remake, that didn't work with the trying to take that approach different in the mansion.
Yeah, that's the thing is I can't just head rush through everything. I need to slow down in games a bit, But I think that's it for our New Year's resolutions and New Year gaming things.
Yeah,
we found out that I'm the one that got a lot of traits that need fixing. You 2 are just perfect angels. We already knew that anyway, but we'll move over to the news. I don't know if anyone's got a news jingle. Do we want a news jingle? Lloyd?
It's the news. I don't know.
You meant to do a bomb or something.
I'm gonna get copyright striked.
Can I just say as well, like when you said it's the news that the last it went high enough that it cut off that was.
Yeah. You're clipping, Lloyd. Goddamn.
That's nice. Noise
Right.
suppression.
Could you make your voice a bit lower, please?
It's the news.
There we go. Beautiful.
There we go.
Beautiful. So we're trying a different format this episode.
Well, it will be this year, won't it?
It will be this year. Damn. Yeah. Damn. So I'm gonna read off the news like a news presenter, but Bioshock's dev next game 2 years away. This Ken Levine? Is that
yeah?
Yeah.
He's
massive issues, right? He's not so fun to work with, apparently.
It's from what I've read, it's like a lot of different like clashes and stuff.
Okay.
With publishers who take two, I think.
Do we know what the game is?
Well, I saw Lego. And I got really excited. I was like, "Oh my god, there's going to be a Lego game, but it's got to be really serious because you make Bioshock and stuff." But
would you kindly build this?
Yeah, would you kindly build this serious Lego game? But no, it's narrative Legos, so it's basically like something. It's kind of like Detroit, where you kind of like pick you like weave the narrative together, sort of thing. You craft your narrative.
So it's Detroit Become Human with Lego.
But it's not Lego.
But it's not Lego.
It's not Lego. There's just different parts. You build the narrative as the player.
Okay. That sounds like a big feat anyway to do.
So it's non-Lego Lego.
Yeah.
It's not as fun as Lego.
It's non-Lego Lego, and it's not Minecraft. It's like something else.
They shouldn't have used the word Lego.
No, now Lloyd's confused.
I got distracted. I was like, "Oh my god, Lego!" I was like, "It's about time we've had a Noia Lego series or something." I don't know. But yeah, it's I don't really know much about the game because like it hasn't. But
it's not
apparently it's not the focus. But apparently it was supposed to be out it was supposed to have been finished like 2 years ago, and then it was delayed again, delayed, whatever. And so he's apparently really difficult to deal with. There's been loads of clashes with like publisher being involved. That's basically
news.
it. Yeah.
And that's the news. See you all later. Goodbye.
That's it.
Dude. I was trying to do the BBC. Is it the BBC or the news? I don't know. I don't know what does news anymore, but I know there's a jingle at the end of one of them.
That whole thing though, like being difficult to, I think that whenever someone gets a reputation as like a visionary or an auteur or something like that, more often, I mean, because more often than not, anyway, it's not like one person who's done all this stuff. Like they've taken the lead or whatever, or helped coordinate it, but there's a whole team of people who behind like the artwork and the mechanics and doing all these different things. But if someone's got that ego and then it, like, taking it upon themselves to be the face of this, and they've like sort of believe their own hype, I think that's always going to lead to that sort of thing, isn't it? It's like,
so he's the whole point, because it's a new company. He's set up a new company, but it's a smaller team. But apparently he's treated it like he would have with the I never remember the Bioshock, the actual devs, what they're called.
Is it Take-Two? That's the publisher.
That Take-Two is the publisher.
Wait,
it was 2K Games.
2K Games. Yeah. That's
but they're the publisher, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm gonna include them. No. Is it
That's our game knowledge.
Gaming.
But yeah, he's like working with a smaller team now, but apparently he's like still thinking he's working with like a bigger team and treating it like it's a bigger team. So and then they've like rebooted the game several times. It's been like rethought of like the narrative and wherever else, and obviously because he's a big time dev and he's got an ego, he wants it to be a AAA game still. So
I'm devs with egos. There's no such thing, Lloyd. Okay.
No such thing. He wants it of AAA quality as well. So.
Yeah, I remember listening to someone before about big time game devs, and it's like you could just tell they want to be like movie directors.
Yeah,
it's like just go to movies, then go away.
Yeah, but movie directors are like that as well. A lot of them is they're just equally sort of ego-driven, and I mean, even the ones that are genuinely geniuses, they're still pretentious as hell. Like a lot of the time.
I'm not going to name any devs that I think are like that.
But like the whole narrative Lego thing as well just sounds like it's like a massive ask. Because if you want every ounce of that story to be of high quality, every piece has to be of high quality. And if one bit lacks, it's just gonna let down the whole. And it feels like it's very easy to kick down a Lego after you spent hours building it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe they'll go
that's
for that.
Sick. That's
a good saying.
I'm gonna use that more often.
You should be a philosopher.
Hey,
you should be a philosopher.
After my little whatever, it don't matter. It's just news. I'm proud of that.
I'm shocked. That was great. Call me shook.
It's because it's mentioned Lego. I'm on full form.
Yeah. Yeah. That's. Anything else you want to mention on the subject?
He's a bit of a dick.
Wow.
By the sounds of it, that's all I can add.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Don't sue.
I said by the sounds of it. I said by the sounds.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't say alleged. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it is an opinion. There's no objective fact to that, so you can say what you want on that front. It's just like, oh yeah, he's a knobhead. It's just
second piece of news before we start calling every games dev director bad words. Oh god, Phil would stab you. Anyway, PlayStation VR 2 and VR 2 Sense. What is it with PlayStation and controllers? Can't they just put a controller out?
What is it with the lazy naming?
Do you know what I mean? It's so boring. Get good names.
Taking it Sony again.
I got to every single episode.
It's a question though, because I saw this and this was announced last night, I believe, as we're recording this on Wednesday, I think, so it was Tuesday night. It wasn't a PlayStation event, it was a Sony event, and then obviously they incorporate PlayStation stuff in, but it wasn't exclusively about PlayStation, so I think that's why it probably slipped under a lot of people's radars. But yeah, I mean, I know there's a lot of people who are quite excited for this because there's a lot of fans of the original PSVR. I've never played it myself because it was basically I think almost paying for a whole extra console to get the kit. It's not comes cheap. I mean, even things like the Oculus, that's not a cheap bit of kit, is it?
I personally don't understand. If you're gonna spend that money on, I guess if you haven't got a PC is the answer. But if you're gonna spend that money on a PlayStation VR, why not just get an Oculus? Ain't they still just the leading a console or leading VR specialists right now? Why wouldn't you just get one of them? Is my question.
I don't fully understand how it works in terms of stuff is because presumably it's the same as consoles in the sense of you can only play VR games that are made for that VR platform. So you can't play non-Oculus games on an Oculus. You can't play. I don't know what other VR things there are.
It's most of the Steam games that I know of the Oculus just runs on. I think I could be wrong though. The only Oculus I played is my brother's, and that didn't work when I brought it over to mine because I don't know, driver issues or something. But yes, I mean it's interesting. But I don't understand what PlayStation's thing is with controllers. It's haptic feedback. Ooh, new controller. It's just controllers are controllers, man. Just let me play my games.
Are they not part of the experience now?
Yeah, I suppose so. But I can only imagine that being good for narrative and story games. Using the haptic.
It's not something. It's not always
they do exist.
Yeah.
What?
Narrative games do exist.
No. But this is the thing. It's for me, for example, because I play a lot of FPS and shooters. I've used the haptic controller. It feels like it put me off more than anything. I've got to turn vibration off because vibration chucks me off a lot.
I'm sure you can turn the haptic feedback off on the PlayStation.
Yeah, you can turn it off. I mean, I think it's probably one of those things as well where the mileage you get out of it will depend on the individual person and whatever it is. Astro's Playroom, which is like the PS5 show off game. Essentially, it was a whole like made just to show off what the PS5 can do. It's probably the best example of all the haptic feedback things, and like you can feel all the different like textures that Astro is walking over and on and stuff like that, and it genuinely does like add this like weird extra level of immersion. And then you still get some of that in things like Returnal. I think when I was playing Day 5, you could, there was different feelings when you were like churning up dust to when you were splashing through the mud and all this sort of stuff. So is it? But I know at the same time, like if you've got, like if you, and just one example would be like if someone's playing games but you've got carpal tunnel syndrome, then you're gonna have to turn that all off completely because that's gonna mess with all that. So it's one of those. I think if it doesn't affect you, then it's something that can potentially add to it. And I know like the what's the word? Adaptive triggers can be interesting. Like if you want to sort of take a single careful shot compared to just going that sort of thing. So yeah, there's lots of stuff there, but obviously how much mileage you get out of it will depend on whether you were bothered by things like vibration in the first place, I suppose.
Yeah, and I suppose with like VR as well, the controller's an even bigger part of the experience.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think because it's where you feel everything. It's how you move.
Yeah.
You're not actually moving.
Have they showed what it looks like? Is it a controller or is it like the other VR where it's the two?
It's like
pom-pom things.
Yeah, you've got. I think you've got like some sort of like thing that goes around. It looks almost like, I don't know, some sort of weird futuristic space station orbiting around your hands.
Okay, cool. I mean, I like.
It looks like Dynasty Warrior. Dynasty Warrior, the rings.
Oh, the rings. I know.
That's how I'm picturing it.
Yeah.
Also, cool. Ironically, while the PS4 was black and the PS4. The PSVR, which came out at the same time, was the white headset and everything. With the white PS5, I think all the stuff for the PSVR 2 is black. So
there was lots of complaints.
Why? Just make things like color coded so it just looks better in your setup.
Do you know what? It's so annoying. They do not think about people.
They do not think about setups. God damn it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you can get like black faceplates for the PS5 if you really want. Although, why you'd pay that extra 40 quid just to change the colour of your console, I don't know. But
maybe suing everyone and bankrupting everyone.
Damn. Are you gonna get the VR2 then, Phil?
If I did, it probably wouldn't be this year, to be honest. It's again, I've at this point never played a VR game in my life, and I don't know that there's enough different VR games to like make it worthwhile. Because like you could play Resident Evil 7 in VR for the old one, and this might allow you to play Village, but for that, like spending 200 or 300 quid or whatever it is on the actual setup is not worth it for like one game, is it really? I know they've made like a VR Horizon game as well, but again, it's like it's not enough to justify effectively a whole extra console.
Yeah, I think that just applies to VR. Like it's cool, but it just doesn't feel like it's worth it yet.
Yeah, I think it's at the beginning of a cycle, isn't it? It's kind of like it. I think in 5 years' time there'll be a lot more commercially available stuff for it. So,
once we get to Ready Player One, once that becomes a reality, then we
got a metaverse happening. That's happening. So.
Oh, please stop! Don't bring the metaverse. That's doing my head in.
You mean you don't enjoy listening to Mark Zuckerberg pretending to be a human?
Although I did see a TikTok that made me giggle, and it was like, in the next 10 years, all offices could use the metaverse to meet in their metaverse office or whatever. And some guy was like, "Yo, if my office are gonna make us meet on a Minecraft server, I am down, but I'm gonna have the best house in the office,
But
and
the thing
no
is,
one
you can
shuts.
imagine what it's going to be like in that. It's going to be ads everywhere. Buy this.
Yeah.
You can only get in if you pay £5.
Yeah, per hour as well.
Yeah, it's just that's my one worry about VR is like how the corporate world's kind of very cyberpunky in it, and it's just like you see like cyberpunk.
It's almost like you kind of get the feeling that like that sort of stuff isn't made for gamers. That stuff's made for like corporate people who want to be trendy and hip, and it's like
it's just Zoom version 2.
Yeah, all the people in the VR headsets and like going through the metaverse will be like all the corporate CEOs, and then anyone who actually plays games will just be sitting down with the controller in the hands in front of a telly. And
I think it'd be really cool, like to experience games in that like next level, but like the people that are making it, it's not the same.
Problem is every other new feature in gaming is the next level, and it's like we've leveled up so much now that it's like I just want to play a game, man.
No,
I just want to play a game.
I am excited for it, like the future of it, and see where it goes. But like at the same time, it's kind of like I'm not, because I know what's going to happen. We've already seen the start of it now. But positive vibes.
Onto some positive vibes, I suppose. Is it positive? I think so. Is scientists, well, I guess it is positive, test video games. Wait, scientists test video game that can spot dementia early.
Oh, okay.
Good thing.
Yeah, so this is another one where it's the power of, because I think they already had studies, didn't they, showing like playing video games regularly increases your like certain cognitive abilities, your reflexes, and your ability to problem solve and stuff like that. So it kind of makes sense that they use some of that stuff to be able to test whether people are being affected by dementia. I don't know the full details of it because the only place I saw that was in the Times, so half of it's hidden behind a paywall, helpfully.
Amazing.
But
it's begun.
We can tell. I mean, it is a cool thing. It's nice to see video games popping up in
positive news.
In traditional news, the media, in good ways. Other than the devil.
I saw a good TikTok earlier, and it was like there's all these things linking video games with violence, and they always blame like GTA and all those types of games, but they've never played Overcooked, have they?
Yeah. They've never played party games. Jeez, I'm gonna rush on the news article here, but I mean that's good that they're starting to use it to spot. Yeah, obviously, it's good for people to spot that early, and get help quickly. So that's good news. But the last piece of news is that the total number of video game releases in 2021 was up 64% to 2020. While the percentage of games that had physical version fell below 10%. I think that's just gonna happen now. Do you think physical games will just start to just?
Yeah.
They are on the way out overall. I mean, there's obviously still people who collect them, or they're like the people who like to wait for physical bit, and I can understand that. There is something about having them, but
you're saying that vinyl in music was like the highest it's ever been since like the 90s, the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether it's a difficult one, because I don't know whether I think a lot more people are less willing to buy big AAA games physically.
That might be the thing now. Yeah.
But when you come to like indie games, where that's how they make their money, as well as they're physical because they're like limited edition, people might still be buying them. So it's
true. I know there's a company that do like special runs of games that don't have.
There's quite a few,
yeah. Maybe you'll just fall into that from now on.
Yeah, because that's how I got Scorebringer for the Switch. Was through that.
Because the last physical game I bought was probably Rise, and the only reason I bought it is because of the collector's edition and
steel bookcase.
Yeah, steel bookcase, which I've got a few steel bookcases. I was looking the other day, and none of the games are actually in them. They're just there because I already have a case for it.
Yeah.
That might be the future, because it might be like if they stop releasing the physical thing, then it might be just a separate. If you order this game, then we'll also send you this like little steel commemorative.
He sent me stickers, and I've still got them, and that's incredible. Send stickers. Stickers are amazing.
They don't take up room.
No, and you can just keep them until you find somewhere where you're like, I'm gonna put a load of stickers there. Do you know what I mean? They're just there. They're ready.
Yeah, because what do you have like? Do you just buy everything digital now, or do you have like a criteria where something's got to be physical? Or
I suppose so. I mean, Monster Hunter's always going to be a game. Like Monster Hunter's probably my favorite franchise of all time. That's a big statement for me. But so when it comes to physical for that, I've got most of the games physical, so it's like I kind of like it for that collection to show it evolving. But no, I think even now, probably in the next Monster Hunter game, I'll probably just get digital. I mean, I've got Monster Hunter Stories 2 digital, so everything I buy is digital now. I really don't care for the physical of it no more.
I think, like unless, like I said, like before, unless it's like going to help someone out financially or something, I probably wouldn't. And like, I really want to show my support for a game because I do it with vinyl. Like, I buy like vinyl for artists I like and stuff that are smaller and perhaps need that like little bit. Because I think now that we're going into a more subscription based thing as well,
yeah,
it's kind of nice to like and if you're willing to, and the fact that now you don't have to go out and pay 60 quid on Halo, for example. You can pay that 10 quid a month. You get that option to.
That's a thought as well. I wonder if because of subscriptions, people are paying more for different games they wouldn't normally pay. Pay or play. Same thing, really.
Yeah.
I think because I understand like how painful it is to fucking try and make money off a subscription service. It's not nice, and like I don't know what the exact deal is of Game Pass or Sony PlayStation Plus, but PlayStation Now in it.
Yeah, PlayStation Now is the the games one rather than the online play.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I so for me it's like I said, if it's the smaller indie devs that need that backing or AA or whatever.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I think probably this year will be the 1 year where everything I buy is just digital.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been like the past few years has been mostly digital, but 1 or 2 games physical. But I think this is probably going to be the year where I just weed it out.
The thing for me is definitely do I already own it as a physical thing? So it's like again because I've got it there. Physical version of Horizon Zero Dawn, and then it's like, well, I need the physical version of Horizon Forbidden West sit next to it.
Yeah,
whereas like I never owned a physical copy of like The Last of Us, so I didn't need a physical copy of The Last of Us 2 and that sort of thing. So it just I think at this point any additions, unless it's purely because it's cheaper, will be because I've already got that series in physical form. That's the other thing. Base.com is often a lot cheaper to get a physical thing than buying it on the PlayStation Store or Amazon or wherever else.
I think that's the other scary thing in it, is the fact that like Sony and Microsoft control their markets, and like how often are they going to change their like first party games?
I think the worst for it is Nintendo.
Nintendo, yeah, of course.
Nintendo were quite bad for it, but from what I've seen as well now, they're starting to do a bit more sales on their thing. Yeah. So, because I think they've seen, because PlayStation and Xbox do their sales, and they do their sales well.
Well, yeah.
Not as good as Steam. Let's be fair. Steam is the generator of backlogs. Absolutely, just oh. But yeah, yeah.
Steam.
I guess sales and stuff are probably especially like now the games are. No, I don't think that matters. I was going to go into something else, and it didn't actually apply. But any other little notes on the subject?
I think the 65% is a good number to show that we're finally getting back on our way from the pandemic. But what this new variant does, we don't know yet. In the new year.
Variant 7.3.4.
44444. Spartan 117.
It's just a way of really slowly teaching us the Greek alphabet.
Yeah.
That's what the variants are for.
Oh, jeez. But anyway, that's us for the second episode of this year. We will be around next week, where we will be talking about books and movies again. You can find us on socials at UnCapt Gaming on pretty much everything, everywhere. It's just UnCapt Gaming anyway now. It's just us.
Okay.
That's us. And yeah. See you next time. Thank you for listening. I don't know why I dragged the outro out so badly there. It just got to be like, yeah. So if you want to keep talking, we can keep talking. But and yeah, that's us from me, Phil, and Lloyd. We hope you've had a lovely start to the new year, and we will catch you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
That's all.